So thanks everyone for being here. Talking about nature. Nature decided to talk by herself today, which I think was nice. Thank you to the organizers for this beautiful venue. I am here today to show you a bit of the work that we have been doing in Zaha Hadid Architects to achieve architectural sustainable solutions with an integrated design process. A brief introduction for the ones that don't know our work. Zaha Hadid Architects was founded in 1979 by Zaha Hadid. She was the first woman architect to win the Pritzker Prize, as well as the Riva Gold Medal in 2016, among several other awards. Sadly, she passed away in 2016, but we, her team, continue her legacy. We are now a global company of more than 450 people, 55 nationalities, so completely multicultural, working across the globe. Our portfolio spans more than 40 years of projects, working in different scales, in different sectors. We have worked as well with ABUD here in Budapest, in Hungary. So we are very happy also to be here because of that. But our main concern regarding sustainability and how the sustainability came to us is because we have to answer to the increasing number of clients coming to us, asking us for projects with green credentials, but also as the responsibility we have as architects being part of the construction sector, which somehow contributes with approximately 30% of the carbon emissions globally. Although we had some projects with very good experiences in terms of green accreditations, like the ones that we see here, the London Aquatic Centre, CAPSARC, the newly opened BIHA headquarters in Sharjah, and the project that is in progress now, the Forest Green Stadium, we were asking ourselves how a company with a global portfolio, with a language that is very well known, can include the sustainable variables without losing our unique identity, which was the main challenge. So we start asking ourselves, okay, where are we in this sustainability map? What are we doing for this? And how we can also educate ourselves to really learn what we are talking about. Because of course, you know, the terminology is something that everyone uses, but sometimes we don't really know what things mean. So with the help of Max Fordham, which is a sustainability consultant in London, we established a plan of 2 years called the Low Carbon Strategy, with workshops internally to understand where we were with our projects and how we could improve. The compilation of all of that was a handbook that you see there in the lower part of the slide, that it was an internal booklet for everyone in the company, all the staff, to understand our successful and our failures as well in the projects and how we can continue progressing. The second part of this strategy was to set up an internal team, a group of specialists called Environmental and Sustainable, that were working with us since the very earliest stages. The transformation of the design process is really that one. It's work with the sustainable requirements since the sketches, since the concept design, and not apply the technicality at the end of the project. This group of specialists are helping us since the very beginning, working with wind simulations, with daylight simulations as well, solar radiation, use of sustainable materials. So every time now that we have a project, we sit with this team, we work together, and we analyze the sketches, the way that we are positioning a volume in the site, and etc. Part of the result is, of course, a formal repertoire that helps us to answer specific requirements in different climates with design solutions. In this case, mainly facade elements, vertical shading elements, horizontal patterns, balconies, self-shading devices, and so on. However, we are a vanguard design company, so we didn't really just want to have the assessment in terms of environment, but we wanted to design projects that have embedded in their concept the sustainability. I'm going to show you some of them. Of course, they are not perfect. Some of them are not being built, they are in progress, but I think that they are really nice attempt how to incorporate all what I have been saying before. So the first one is the King Abdullah Petroleum Studies and Research Center. This is in Riyadh. The importance of this project, this is the first one where the team worked together with the engineers, in this case Arup from London, and also with Saudi Aramco, which is our client, to have an approach that was completely integrated. The client wanted to have the sustainability issues addressed in the building, as well as us. This is a research center for around 350 researchers with 1,500 auditorium and breakout rooms, offices, and so on, distributed in 70,000 square meters. The most important about this was that it got the first platinum LEED accreditation for Zaha Hadid Architects, and the concept of the building was working with this honeycomb structure. The reason it was because we could, with the duplication of phases of having all these cells together, we could reduce the structure, reduce the material, and also the amount of surfaces that were exposed to the excessive solar radiation. At the same time, we tilted the skyline, the surfaces of the roof, to somehow scoop in and make, the best use of the prevailing winds for the cooling inside. And as well, using the same cells, the interior of the cells, as courtyards that can be used as a system of cell shading for the cell itself, but also for the adjacent ones. The second project is also very important because it was our first attempt to work with timber. We generally work with concrete. Most of the projects that you could see from our previous years in our office were done in concrete. This one was the first one where we somehow dared to use timber for our geometry. So of course we couldn't work with such a big complexity, but we wanted to achieve something that was beautiful and elegant as the rest of our geometries, but at the same time that it was humble in the way that we use the material. This is the Slick Reef Institute in Cambodia. It is a project that has as a program a museum, a research center, and a memorial park for the genocide in Cambodia in the 70s. In this case, beyond the use of the material, we also have the component of what we call the social and the cultural sustainability. Is giving to the community a building that it was completely open, with a lot of programs that were somehow given to the community in terms of sport facilities of the whole park, as well as generating this duality for a building that has to host a program that reminds death, that reminds the shady part of human beings, but at the same time that it has to lift up your spirit and look forward the future, in the case of the part that is dedicated to the research and the school for kids. So all of that was done with a lot of sensitivity in the way that the spaces were designed in the interior, like you see in these images. One of the main components was the light. The use of the light came in two ways. First, how it was filtered through the canopies of the trees, the simulation that you can see in this side of the slide, and also how to use the light for reflections. This building, as I was mentioning, was part as well of this whole development of this memorial park. So then as well, having areas of shade and open, let's say, to a sky was important in the park. And then is the use of water. Cambodia is a culture that lives from the water, that it has incorporated historically in all their temples the water as a feature, but also as a way to to irrigate the areas around these temples. So in this case, we also consider, as you can see in the section, the several pools to storage rainwater. When then the overflow goes down to these water features that creates this whole feeling of the reflection. So somehow the water circulates through the building and is an element, a design element that is completely alive. The next project is the Forest Green Stadium. This has been named the greenest stadium in the world when hopefully it gets built. Now we are in the stage 3 of the RIVA process. And it has quite a difficult story. We won the competition in 2016. The planning permit was denied because, of course, it's not a common project to have a stadium that is completely made in timber. But then we submitted again the planning permit, and it was successful. So now we are working on it, and I'm happy to continue. The main idea of this project is being a part of a park, of an eco park. The client is green energies entrepreneur. So he wanted to build this technological park that it was also a green, let's say, area for the city of Stroud in the UK, and make use of the meadow, of the undulations of the landscape to design the sitting bowl. So here you can see this stadium is just one of the components of this eco park, that it has also a life cycle that needs to be virtuous in the way that is also benefiting from the environment, but also giving something back, as you can see in the chain of the energy recycling in the bottom. So as I was saying, the way that we work on this to make it possible to build in timber is that the main structure is following a curve, a very gentle curve in the sitting bowl. So it's not a big stadium as a box, it's following the curve of the landscape. So in that case also we reduce part of the structure. Then the main elements are seated every 4 meters, which generally in the stadium is 7 to 8. So the fact that they are close allow us also to use the timber for the slabs and for the raking system for the sitting area. All of this was done parametrically, as you could see there in the sketches. So this is how the section works, completely done in timber. The roof is done in glulam because we are trying to achieve this gentle curvature, but then the sitting, raking, and the slabs are done in CLT. The roof is covered with a transparent membrane for 2 or 3 reasons. The most important one is to allow for a high percentage of the natural light to penetrate the turf area and to allow the growth of the natural grass. The second is to reduce the glare and the reflection for the players. And then the last one, it was also to soften the full appearance of the stadium in the overall, and in this case from the people circulating around this park. As you could see, all the areas around are also part of this development as a landscape design. The most important thing as well is how the people feels inside this building, and how the rest of the facilities for the players as well are made to human scale. The last project I'm going to present is the International Convention Center in Tahiti. This is a competition we won last year. It is a very interesting building because in this one we decide that the sustainability will be at the core of the building. So we will make something that is a reinterpretation of this village in the landscape that is a stepping hill from a mountain going down into a lagoon. Working with the references on this undulated roof made also in timber that refers back to the way that the natives of the island were using for their canoes, and then the way that they were navigating as well. And then instead of having a huge building as well for the 4 theaters that the program was asking for, we break down the volumes in 4 different ones that were using the natural stepping on the landscape, creating a series of green terraces. These are all naturally ventilated. They are open completely towards the landscape area, making use of natural materials as well as the vegetation of the area. And this is how the interior spaces relate also to the outdoors. So in this case, the whole component recreates as well the way that the villages are done in Tahiti, the way that the people can circulate freely in between the spaces, and how as well the whole language of the project is unified by this curved roof. Lastly, this project is not specifically based on nature or in the context of the place where it's located. It's something completely different, but I thought it was very interesting to show it because it has the principle of the reduce, reuse, and recycle. This project is called Estrallatus. It is a bridge that was done by our research team. We have an internal team called CODE. The objective of CODE is to work in the innovation of material together with external institutions as well as with manufacturers and suppliers to understand how we can improve the use of certain materials for more sustainable solutions. This bridge is done in modules. It was printed in concrete. The pieces were designed structurally to be self-supportive like all masonry arches, and is sitting on a skeleton done in timber. The advantage of this is that, of course, it can be assembled and disassembled and then move whenever the event is finished. And also, because the materials are not mixed, it can be completely recycled. So I think experiences like this also help us to understand how we can better improve our design and get to better solutions. Thank you.